Starting. My space. Hello, 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 everyone. Hello, 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 hello. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, good evening. I don't know. I just want to set this microphone. I don't know how to put it or which way. Maybe I put it like this. That's gonna be better. Okay, sounding well. Okay. Oh, thank you guys on TikTok. Thank you guys on YouTube. I know it's really unfavorable. Just a moment, guys. Yeah.
Hello?
Yes, bros, I can hear you. I'm live now.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
But see what you do. Keep on. If you say, as I just tell you, if you say don't enter all these guys, hope you don't react so that you feel like this course and you have
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you guys for joining. We're starting really early today. I know I put 4 o'clock, and it's quite an unfavorable time for people who are working. I quite understand, but my host tonight is quite a busy man, so maybe he wouldn't be able to join us exactly 4 o'clock, but he would definitely join us. And I see you guys on TikTok. TikTok family, I just want to appreciate every one of you. You guys just have a way of making me excited, and you guys have a way of cheering me up. You guys have a way of making me want to do more. I just want to say I really truly appreciate you guys. And I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. And I love you all for giving me this support. For me, this journey, I didn't quite start this journey for money. I didn't quite start this journey for for fame, whatever. It's just something that I like doing. Whenever I am someone who creates time a lot to meditate, and most of the time I'm always alone. So when I'm alone, my brain is working. When I'm cooking, my brain is working. So when I come up with a topic, um, I just want to discuss this topic with family, and my family on TikTok, my family on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook, and everyone. But this particular topic, I've been wanting to discuss it not until I got a personal message on my a DM. The person reached out to me to ask me how do we resolve conflict in relationship. But obviously, I've been talking about relationship for the longest time, and I just wanted to talk to team members of team. I want to talk to whatever team, could be workspace, it could be whatever team. And I don't want to be the person talking alone, so I decided to have a host, someone who I really truly trust would be able to talk about this topic. So that person will be joining us soon. But if you don't know, or maybe you've forgotten, we choose the topic. I and somebody who sent me a DM, and that topic is the difference between conflict resolution and conflict management. Of course, we know what conflict resolution is. I'll just wait till 4 o'clock. If it's not here, then I'll just jump straight into it because obviously I'm not a host who wants to host people and not prepare for what I'm hosting them for. So I always prepare ahead just in case they have any busy schedule and they're unable to show up. I would be able to still give my teaching as a teacher that I used to be. Anyway, I was a teacher, but I'm no more a teacher here, but I used to be a teacher. So back to what I was saying. You see, in relationship, amongst team members, amongst group of people, we will always have conflict. And by the way, I would quickly drop this here. This is not a religious platform. I wouldn't say it's a religious platform. Whenever I give teachings like this, it's for anyone who cares to listen, anyone who wants to learn new things. So everybody is welcome. So in as much as we'll be chipping in form of religion at a point in the teaching, but it doesn't mean it's just for the religious people alone. It's for anyone, anybody who wants to listen and who wants to learn. And again, I'm very open for constructive criticism. I'm not the one who shy away from criticism. I would want you, I would love you to tell me how you want me to improve, how best you want me to improve, what you want me to improve on. I would love that feedback as well. The only thing I don't tolerate and I don't permit is when you use hurtful words on people. If you must drive at your point, you need to drive at your point respectfully. And that's why today we'll be talking about conflict resolution and management. Uh, we all can agree that amongst group of people, team members, and friends, families, there's bound to be conflict. It's not because the devil is at work, that's why we have conflict. It's not because we don't understand people, that's why we have conflict. It's not because we are not matured enough, that's why we have conflict. It's just because conflict is a part of the human race. Conflict is a part of the human life, and we will definitely encounter and experience and come in contact with conflict one way or the other. And conflict comes because we have different views to life, we have different perception to life. Um, I like, I don't know what these comments. Okay, thank you, Ango Subamdia. Thank you for joining. And Guardian Pi, thank you for joining as well. And CSK999, thank you for joining on YouTube. I can see your comment dropping, and I really appreciate you guys. So back to what I was saying, that we are bound to experience conflict in our relationship. Even as a married person, you are bound to experience conflict, not because you guys are not compatible. We have been able to establish when the conflict continues, and that's when we can say, okay, these people in relationship are not compatible. But if it's just a normal one-off thing, it happens here and there, not every time, but once in a while conflict happens, then yes, it's not part. It's not a bad thing. It's part of life. That yes, we must experience conflict one way or the other, and we will be able to also address how to uh, resolve conflict and how to manage conflict in whatever relationship you are in. Only when it becomes life-threatening, then that doesn't need conflict management anymore. It graduates to resolution, where you have to put an end to certain things, and that's what we'll be talking again today. Anyways, I'll just jump straight into it because it's 3 minutes past 4. Like I said before, I was prepared for these before I invited my guest. Okay, today, thank you guys for joining again. Good evening, everyone on TikTok and on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram. Thank you for joining. I see you guys. I appreciate you guys, and I thank you for how you've encouraged me so far. Today, we'll be talking about the difference between conflict management and conflict resolution. So, if you know what conflict management is, you can put it in the comment section. If you know what conflict resolution is, you can put it in the comment section. But very quickly, I'll just jump straight into what conflict resolution is. Conflict resolution actually comes before conflict management. When you say resolution, is you finding a balance to something, is you finding an end to a problem. That's when you say resolution. But when you say, I don't know who this is, but I'll just try to invite him. Uh, can you turn down the volume?
Hello.
Hi. Hello.
Hello, guys.
Hello.
How are you?
Yeah, we're good.
Awesome.
We're good. All right.
Nice. Let's go. Hi, Kadeli Sharia.
Please, can you turn down the volume over your end, please? Thank you very much.
I'm sorry?
How did I get
If
here?
you don't like the live, you can leave. Yeah.
Okay, back to what I was saying, guys. I'm sorry for that interruption. It's my people on TikTok. I guess they don't know I'm on YouTube as well.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye. So I said conflict resolution aims to permanently
Hello,
end
Liga. Are you from
a dispute
You're speaking Italian?
by no, I'm not speaking Italian.
Georgia.
Conflict resolution aims to permanently end
Okay.
a dispute by addressing the root causes. That's what conflict resolution is. So conflict resolution actually targets the root causes to a problem. It actually targets the root causes to an issue. Can your guest join after clicking on the link? My guest can just click on the link. He can join just immediately because I made it for the both of us. So if he's getting it, he's here. Hello, Mr. Amos. Thank you for joining. I don't know if you click on the link, you would be able to join. If you click on the link, you will be able to join. Just try and click on the link so you're able to join. Okay, I'll just forward it to. Okay, Mr. Angus, I've sent you the link again, so maybe my guest can try and just join in. Let him try clicking on that link. I've sent it again, Mr. Amos. I've sent it to Mr. Angus. He would be able to communicate that to you. So very sorry, guys. It's my guest is finding it challenging joining us. And okay, while we're waiting for him to sort that out, I'm so very sorry, guys, because yeah, I just sent you again. I just sent you again, sir. Okay, yeah. Oh, thank God.
Hi,
Good evening, sir.
good evening.
How are you,
Do
sir?
I'm good. Do I go portrait? I think it's landscape. Is it okay?
Yes, landscape, but you can go back to the plan, but this is also fine.
Please come again.
You can go portrait, but okay.
Okay.
Good evening, sir. Thank you for joining.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure.
Oh, yeah. Anyways, just the backstory of Mr. Amos is my oldest brother friend. Very long time friend. But quite not quite. He's a very, very knowledgeable person. And when I was thinking who to invite, I thought about him because I know he has so much to share to people. He will be able to do something. So I would just leave it to Mr. Amos to share with YouTube as well. So I think I would give him.
I can barely hear you, please.
Can you hear me now?
So I do. I can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay. I said if it's possible, you can turn your camera to portrait,
Okay.
and I want you to say yes, this is better. And I also want you to say hello to our listeners and our viewers who's watching us.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Amos Owobo. It's my pleasure being here.
Oh,
Thank you so
very
much for
much.
having me.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you very much, sir. Very, very.
Yeah.
Anyway, something inspired. Somebody reached out to me through again. That person wanted us to talk about conflict resolution, conflict management, and um, totally in relationship and amongst team members. So I've been able to have some questions here to ask you as you go on with teaching us. So I'll just
It's breaking. It's actually breaking. I don't know.
yeah.
It's breaking.
So can you
Yeah.
hear me clearly now?
I understand we're talking about conflict resolution,
Yeah.
conflict management.
Yeah.
Two different concepts, but very related. Yeah, but I'm trying to get to your last question. If you could
Yeah.
come again, please.
I said as the teaching go on, I would be able to ask you questions that I've sent down here from people.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I didn't hear you. I didn't get that.
Okay. Okay. I understand the network issues. But I was saying, as you go on with the teaching, I would be able to ask you questions along the line as you go on with the teaching. So I don't know, is that clear?
Okay, you want me to go on with the teaching, right?
Yes, please.
All right. All right. Can I confirm if you can hear me loud and clear? Because I
Yes.
hear you in bits. I
Oh
don't
yeah.
know. You can hear me, right?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. All right. All right. Conflict management, conflict resolution, they are very, very related.
Mm-hmm.
You can't mention one without mentioning the other. I would define conflict management as the process of trying to minimize the disruptive effects of conflicts. The process of trying to minimize the problems, the catastrophic effects of conflict, so that they don't result in broken relationship, they don't result in disruption of peace, especially in the society. The conflict resolution, on the other hand, different from management, has to do with addressing the root cause of the conflict and actually eliminating the conflict. So one manages, the other resolves. I'll give you examples. Maybe I should take you back to the Bible. There was a time Jesus Christ and his disciples were on a boat. Jesus Christ happened to be taking a nap. And then the storm was very, very restive. The storm was angry. And so the disciples were finding it difficult to steer the boat. And so they were trying to manage the situation. I would see that as conflict management. The sea was angry. It was difficult for them to move. And then they were doing everything possible to navigate the boat. They were managing the situation. And when Jesus Christ woke up, he looked at it and it was within his power to actually arrest the situation, to resolve the situation. And he said, hush, be still, or be quiet, depending on the translation you are using. And so the sea or the storm came down, was calm. The situation was resolved. I'll give you another example. It could be two neighbors in a compound. having difficulty parking their vehicle because there's only one parking slot. And then they come together and say, okay, what if we do it this way instead of always having argument? I park Monday to Wednesday, and then Thursday to Sunday, you park here. So we take turns parking. The situation is not resolved, the problem is still there, but it is managed so that there's no constant quarreling, bickering, and argument. But look at it this way, if you are resolving that conflict, probably you have to maybe make another parking lot, make a second one, and say, okay, look, you park here, why, this is yours. And then the conflict is resolved. And the mistake people make is trying to resolve every conflict. There are conflicts that can never be resolved. Some conflicts are structurally permanent. Some are structurally unresolvable. And so if you try to resolve a conflict that is permanent, you hit rocks because you never succeed. And so I'll give you an example. In the workplace, for example, I work, so I like making an example with a work environment. You could have employees who have different goals, who have different values, for example, and they are working together on the same job schedule. The work example is always rife with competition. Competition helps you grow. You cannot stop them from being competitive. You can't stop them from trying to do their best. You can't stop them from trying to outshine their colleagues. And so, workplace competition is unresolvable. All you can do is manage it. You just manage it. You keep managing it. And so there are, in the international scene, there are conflicts too that have been on even before I was born. For example, America is regarded as the world power, though many people contest that. And then Russia, on the other end, is always at loggerhead with America. But from inception, Russia has never gone to war with America. Like one-on-one battle. So that means they consistently manage the conflict, even though they are really not international friends. Yeah, so there are conflicts you just keep managing continuously with unbroken continuity, and then you don't have to resolve them. But if it is within your power, I think the goal of every conflict management is actually to resolve it. But not every management actually reaches that goal. That's it. So actually, I also go into the area of the skills you need to successfully manage conflicts. You need some specific skills, like communication. You must be very good at communication. Your communication skill must be top-notch. You must have the ability to mediate. You must have the ability to actually go between two rivals who are actually contesting for dominance. And then apart from communication, which is also part of communication, you must have the ability to listen. There's a difference between listening and just waiting for your turn to speak. I don't know how to confirm if you are actually listening to me right now.
Yes,
because some people don't really listen.
Yeah.
Okay, some people don't really listen. They wait for their turn to speak. And then if you must resolve conflicts, you must actually listen actively. Call it active listening. Trying to put yourself in the shoes of the other person. Trying to imagine what that person is going through. Trying to empathize with that person. And then establish a common ground. That common ground helps you to actually be on the side of the opposing party and then to draw a solution, either to resolve the conflict or to actually manage it. And so the basic skill you need is centered around communication and your ability to empathize, the ability to put a human face to situations and have that human feeling. So it helps you to achieve success in conflict resolution. I think I'll stop there for now. If you have more questions, you can actually come up with your questions, and so I don't dominate it.
Honestly, I'm so in awe of how you how you just brought out the teaching just immediately. I'm so grateful. It really makes sense. And I want to say to this person on TikTok, so Miss Francis, thank you very much. I see you. I'm one of the best. Thank you. Okay, I'll ask you a question, sir, because there's so many questions that are like floating around here. The first question here is what time should you handle within team members, amongst team members? Like, what time should you handle conflict amongst people?
Can't hear you. I really
Uh,
can't.
I
I'm
don't know.
having difficulty getting.
I, I think your background is quite noisy. That's why I would try. Can you just say now? Can you? Okay. What will happen? I'll just try and see if I can put down the question. See? Okay.
Hello, can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can hear you properly. I can hear you properly.
Yeah, but I can barely hear you. I don't know.
I don't know. I think your background is quite noisy. That's why you
And I
can hear
don't
me.
have.
So I would ask you to
You're
can you hear
asking. You. Yeah, you can ask questions, but I have to hear you to respond.
me? Yes, yes.
I don't know if you get it. Yes.
I would have to give that my voice. The question I want to ask you here is, one of the questions I put here is, what time should you handle conflict amongst team members? When is the best time
Can't
to
hear
handle
you.
conflict?
I didn't hear that, please. I didn't hear that. Maybe I should read your lips. I can't hear you.
Oh, okay. I just want to see if I can put it down here and
How do we resolve this conflict?
that
How do we
exactly
resolve the conflict of not hearing you? I don't know.
exactly that. Um, I'm
um,
trying to see a better way to do it.
sorry. Is your question on the chat box? Is that the question on the chat box? Okay.
Now,
Yeah.
can you hear me?
Welcome back.
Okay, yeah. Can you hear me now?
Okay, please go on. I think I can hear
Okay.
you.
We needed to sort things out. So I was asking, how should you handle conflict, and how do you handle the conflict amongst team members?
What time should you have no conflict, and how should you handle the conflict for what?
Among people.
Okay. Well, there's no time you will not have conflict.
Oh yes, sir.
Conflict is part of life.
That's a brilliant one.
Yes. Yes. Conflict is part of life. How you manage it and how you handle conflict makes you a matured person, an experienced person, or a professional person, or someone who really does not know the game. And so, what we should focus on is how to handle conflict. Because whether you like it or not, if you don't create conflict, conflict is always around you. There's
Yes, sir.
conflict all around the environment. There's conflict in the family. There's conflict in the work premises.
Mm.
There is even conflict in religious circles.
Oh yeah. So we're coming to that point in religious settings.
Yeah, yeah,
How do you
yeah.
handle such conflict in religious setting? Of course.
Yeah, certainly. So there's always conflict. If you want to avoid them, well, you can choose to avoid conflict, but it doesn't make them go away. I think your question is, at what point should we avoid conflict? If you avoid, it is just like closing our eyes and hoping that before we open them, our problems will disappear.
Mm.
I think when you open your eyes, you see your problems still waiting for you over there. So you have to do something about your problems. Yeah, so conflict is always present. That is one point. Conflict is always present. Conflict is always around us. Whether it's emanating from us or not, we always have it around us. And so the skill that is required of us is not to avoid conflicts, but to manage or resolve them.
So how
And so I mentioned,
how do you stay approach it when you are directly involved? How do you, because it's easy to talk about conflict among people, but involved. How do you do that?
all right, when you are face to face with conflict, sometimes you have to have an impossible discussion, a very difficult conversation. It could be something that is embarrassing when you want to discuss it with someone, and but if you avoid it, then it persists and it keeps increasing. And so you need to take the bull by the horn and actually decide to have a discussion. Conflicts are not resolved simply by folding your hands and shutting your mouth. You need to talk about it. The mouth has to be used. Yeah, the mouth has to be used. The body languages have to be used. And so if you are face to face with conflict, the answer is talk about it. We're not saying talk to yourself about it. Talk with the person, the other party about it. And it actually helps. And so when talking about it, I mentioned earlier that you need to actually listen actively. You don't need to you need to actually divorce yourself.
I'm sorry, guys, on TikTok. I know a lot of you are here, you're listening. We just sometimes get some network issues. Hopefully, it will definitely come back. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, back. Just, yeah, okay. Thank you. Thank you for coming back.
Sorry.
So we lost you at a point.
Yeah, we had a little network hitch.
Yeah.
All right. So two things you must do to actually have your conflict resolved. You need to disabuse your mind of any preconceived notion. You need to divorce yourself from any personal interest. This is easier said than done. Anybody wanting to have a discussion or wanting to resolve or manage a conflict have some preconceived ideas. And most of those ideas are selfish. You have ideas about how to resolve the conflict to suit you. But if we continue to put our cards on the table with our interests all over them, it's difficult for us to actually achieve the goal. And so if you are neutral, one, two, you are fully aware of the situation, of the circumstance.
I'll just ask you a question
You
there.
have a knowledge of what you're facing. Hello? Please come in. Want to say something?
I'll just ask you a question. If you are neutral, so how can you stay neutral when you are at conflict? How can you stay
If you take sides, assuming you are addressing a conflict between two parties, you are the mediator. If you tend to take sides, probably because one of them is your brother, one of them is your colleague, one of them is your child, and then you approach the conflict with the idea that this person is right and the other person is wrong, even when you have not heard from both parties, then you're not neutral. And you're likely to escalate the situation and actually cause more problems. And so if you must resolve a conflict or manage it, you need to be neutral to an extent because we are humans and we apologize for being humans. You need to be neutral to an extent, hear from both parties, and that is active listening, and then establish a common ground where you can be in agreement with some of the parties, and then give your resolution.
Oh, thank
give
you
your
very
advice, give your counsel, whatever it is, give your resolution. And so if you don't have these qualities, it's difficult for you to achieve management or conflict resolution.
Oh, thank you very much.
Neutral? Yeah, thank you.
There's another question. There's a couple of questions, and before I go further, I want to again appreciate you for this. I thought about things that you're never gonna. I'm just grateful that you really, really very accurate.
Thank you.
Another question here is you talk about active listening and good communication. You handle conflict that arises miscommunication or misunderstanding between members or group of people. How do you handle that kind
All right, when there's misunderstanding,
yeah.
you mentioned communication breakdown or miscommunication or uncommunication.
Yeah.
You actually need to get the parties involved talking. Yeah, you get them talking, and by getting them talking, you easily understand the situation. When there's no communication, it's difficult for you to resolve any conflict.
Can you give me a minute, please? Just
Okay.
thank you so much, sir. I can hear you.
All right. And so the parties must be willing to talk.
Okay.
You must actually gauge your timing. You must gauge your timing. You don't just rush into resolution or management. Before you actually go into mediation between two parties, you must check if the time is right. Some people are still in a reactive state. Some people are still very angry. At that reactive state and that state of anger, conflict cannot be resolved. You allow them time to go through whatever they are going through.
I would have to write that down because I like to write. We post some of the things.
Okay. And so,
Just a moment.
Should I go on or wait for you?
Yes, please. I can hear you now.
All right. So some people are really not ready yet. And so timing matters a lot in conflict management and resolution. If people are still very mad at each other, people are still very angry, and the situation just happened, and they are very reactive, you can do something to calm them down, but it will be difficult for you to resolve that conflict. In fact, in Nigeria, if you try to resolve conflict at that stage, they could use bottles to break your head. I don't know if you understand. They could ring a bottle on your head, so to speak. So you allow time to take its toll. You allow time to bring down the minds and the tension and emotion of these persons. You allow them to actually process what happened. You allow them to calm down. And so, for you to resolve a conflict, you must ensure that both parties are willing to talk so that they don't weaponize the process. You can weaponize the resolution process and actually use certain feelings that you have cooked up during the defensive or offensive period to actually escalate and make the conflict worse. And so you must allow time for certain things to calm down before you resolve a conflict. And so I think that's basically it. That's what I have to say to that.
Sir, that's totally acceptable. And back and straight to the next question. How should we handle conflict when there are conflicting values and principles among team members? When our values are conflicting, how do we handle conflict?
When there are conflicting values between team members, conflicts can still be managed. Sometimes it's difficult to resolve such conflicts. If these values are ingrained in them, if the values are parts of their personalities, you cannot resolve such conflict. But if it's just values that are superficial, values that are temporary, you can help them reach a common ground and the conflict to be resolved. For example, if you have two persons in your workplace who are of two different faiths, one is possibly a Christian, the other is of a different denomination.
Yeah.
And then they have to do certain work that bring them together and actually share values. And constantly they're in disagreement. Such conflict is difficult to resolve because religious values are highly entrenched. They are highly ingrained.
Just a moment.
All right, please.
I'm sorry. Sorry. I'm back. Thank you, sir.
All right. All right, welcome. And so when you have such situation, the best you can do is to manage such conflicts. You cannot resolve a conflict that has deeply entrenched values. That is why I mentioned earlier that in managing conflict or resolving conflict, we should know that not all conflicts are resolvable. Some conflicts can simply be managed. You understand? There are so many business partners who have conflicting goals, who want to do better than the other. They are constantly in conflict because they want to remain in business and they want to make the most profit. It is difficult to resolve such conflicts. The only thing is to manage the conflict so that everybody can simply do business and go home. Pretending to be friends even when you are not.
Yeah.
Because the values are different. You understand?
Yeah.
And so it's a futile effort if you try to resolve such conflicts. That's why I mentioned not all conflicts can be resolved. You cannot resolve such conflicts, in my opinion.
Yes, that's true, because there's a question, but what you said, he answered that question. He says, how conflict that persists despite initial attempt to resolve them. So it can just manage them, or said not all conflicts can be resolved.
So that's it. Not all can be resolved. Yeah, some you just manage.
Okay, so we have another
Yeah,
question.
that's it. Yeah.
How do you when multiple parties are involved and there is high emotion?
There's high
Most
what?
in marriage. I would ask
Please
again.
take that again.
All right. How do you handle conflict when multiple parties are involved and when emotions in relationship?
All right. Thank you very much. When there are, you mentioned especially in marriage. I think I heard that.
Yes.
Did you mention that? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. You see, one thing with conflict resolution, all the principles are intertwined. Whether in marriage, whether emotions are high, whether there are multiple parties involved, the principles are the same. One, wait for timing. Two, be sure that parties are ready to resolve or manage conflict. You cannot force a horse to drink water from the stream. And so before you even make that attempt, find out if they are ready to have their conflicts managed or resolved. There are some differences that are irreconcilable. Irreconcilable difference means that that problem cannot be solved. These two persons can never come together. These two persons are mutually exclusive.
Can I hold you there? Can I hold you there? As a Christian, let's talk as a child of God. When you mentioned there are some conflict that are irreconcilable. So as a Christian, how should we deal with knowing fully well that what the Holy Book teaches?
Okay. I'm a Christian, and I'll speak on that. You are a Christian, and you believe that this conflict should be resolved. But do you force the other person to believe what you believe?
No.
You understand that? And so that's why I said in the first place that you have to disabuse your mind of every preconceived notion and actually look at it professionally. As a Christian, yeah, we should forgive our neighbors. As a Christians, we should tolerate each other. In fact, the word tolerate shows that something is there that is not resolved. It's being managed. You understand? We should tolerate each other. As a Christian, you should love one another. But during the course of life, some things happen. Some impossible situations occur that challenge your belief, that challenge your ability to tolerate. Although Christianity suggests that you surmount these impossible feelings and actually conquer them with love. But at the same time, whether a Christian or not, there are some that you manage. Even if you don't resolve a situation, I don't think it makes it a sin. If you manage continuously a situation, it doesn't make you un-Christian. There are people who always annoy you. There are people normally that you don't have the same ethics and you can't really tolerate them. But because you're a Christian, you manage to be around them, you put up with their excesses, and you do all sorts of things just to make them okay, even though you are not okay. That's its management. If it were within your power as a Christian, even though the Bible says that you should completely forgive and forget, if it were within your power, you will actually work better with that person and resolve that problem. But the person keeps annoying you. That's not your making.
Mm.
It's not your making that keeps annoying you, but because you're a Christian, you keep covering the annoyance with love. You keep, you keep trying to manage or tolerate the person. And so in Christianity, there's conflict management. In Christianity, there are some conflicts that are hardly resolved.
But what if hurting you and hurting your emotion as a Christian? What should you do? You just stay there and keep managing it, or just find a way to excuse it? Because as a Christian, even though you manage the conflict, but sometimes managing it, you just keep it just.
Okay. Okay. That's where you're talking about avoidance, right?
Yeah.
All right. Someone keeps avoiding you. You are going to church A. You attend church A. And what do? You change your church. Is that what you're suggesting? You go
No,
to
no.
another church because of that person. And then in your new church, someone keeps annoying you.
Mhm.
What do? You jump away from that church again. You start attending another church. You understand what I mean? And so it's the kind of world we live in. The Bible is aware of it. People will
Yeah.
annoy you. People will hurt you. People will stab you in the back.
Mm.
Understand? You need a very strong shock absorber as a Christian. You need a shock absorber to actually absorb all these negativities and still remain a Christian.
Mm.
And so you must improve your ability to manage situations.
Mm.
If you avoid one person simply because it's annoying you, it's making you feel worried, and then you the other way, there are multiple persons there to make you feel the same way.
Yeah.
I think as a Christian, you need management more, conflict management more, even more than conflict resolution. Because resolution is not within your power. There are some things you leave for God. There are some conflict resolution that are not immediately within your human power. I don't know if you get that. And so all you can do as a human is simply contain the situation and constantly manage. That's what I think.
A lot of, not even the church, a lot of faith, simply because they were offended by a preacher, by when they reach, that's not enough reason for you to leave the faith. If you feel like you want to leave the church, it's up to you as an adult where to fellowship with your God. But faith, I don't think that's enough good reason enough for you to leave. So what do you have to say to those people who has lost it simply because they were offended in the church?
I'm a Christian, but I'm not a pastor. And so I think my advice for such persons is to heighten their ability to manage situations. I think that's the essence of this whole conversation.
Yes,
Manage,
sir.
resolve. I think when you're face to face with the conflicts, the two questions, the first question you ask, should I manage this conflict? You can't even ask, should I resolve it? You ask yourself, is it within my power to resolve this conflict?
Mm.
Or it's possible that it will not be within your power. So for such persons, you are not going to a place of worship because of the individuals there. You're going to a place of worship to serve God. And so if you want to look at humans, you're going to be discouraged. And so
Yeah.
you want to look unto God. And that is the reason and purpose why you are there. And so he should also always be the motivator for you to want to do what is right and for you to always want to do what the Bible prescribes. Yeah, not some individuals. Because individuals will always step on our toes, individuals will always hurt us. But
Yeah.
if we keep God as our focus, then we will not be distracted. We'll find a way to manage the situation. We'll find a way to seek intervention of God to empower us to put up with the situation. Sometimes you just have to bear it, put up with it, It becomes something you have to just continuously bottle and rely on God for resolution. Resolution becomes not in your power.
Okay, thank you very much. A few questions more to answer, and we would be done. The question, this person says, what is the biggest misconception people have about conflict?
Yeah, the biggest is we have mentioned something like that before. All conflicts can be resolved.
Okay.
Many people believe that all conflicts can be resolved. Reality, not all conflicts can be resolved. Some conflicts will stay for life. Some conflicts will remain there for life. And you keep managing it, or you just escalate it and it becomes a very serious problem. That's one. And secondly, many people also believe that when you avoid a conflict, it goes away. Avoidance does not remove a conflict. Avoidance only means that you are not bold enough, you're not man enough to face your conflict. It just keeps the conflict constantly there. And so, conflict is in the world, conflict is in our environment, is in our premises, is in our school, is in our workplace, is in our home, even in some religious environment. And so, the thought that, oh, this conflict can be resolved. Even in marriage, there are some conflicts that are difficult, and that's why you see a lot of divorce today. Some people see divorce as a solution to problems that come in marriage. Well, and that is their opinion. But I think management skill is very, very important in conflict. The ability to manage. If you approach conflict with resolution, that this conflict, how do we resolve it? You are making a very big mistake. You have to investigate and do some research to find out if this conflict should be managed or should be resolved. I think that's it.
Okay, I would ask you that question. I would ask you a question before I we have 3 more questions here, which is 4 altogether. Our
Please come again.
significant power between 2 people.
Conflict when there's a
Balance. I don't know what's happening, but I'm enjoying myself with this discussion. Honestly, I'm really enjoying myself, but I don't know what the problem is. And please, guys on TikTok. Oh, God, I've got families here. Thank you so much, guys. I don't know what's happening. I think, yeah, it's coming. Just stay with us. It's here. It's here. Stay with us, guys. We would be rounding up soon. Wrap it up. Oh no, I don't know. Yeah. Okay. For a moment. Yes.
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you hear me? All right. This is your question again. Say, how do we handle conflict?
Yes, when there is balance. Power.
Power imbalance.
Yes.
Power imbalance between the two parties. Okay. I think when there's power imbalance, it becomes very difficult. It becomes a very difficult situation. Yeah. Assuming I had a conflict with my boss, for example, and then I'm called upon, and my boss is called upon, and we're asked to have a conversation on how to manage or resolve the conflict. I will not have that freedom to speak
Mm.
because my livelihood depends on how I speak. My ability to care for my family, my stipend, my salary, my emoluments, all depends on what I say on that table. Because my boss could change his mind and actually ask me to go home. And so I will not be able to speak freely.
There should be to be able to express yourself regardless.
Yeah, but unfortunately, power imbalance exists in this situation we're trying to portray.
Mm.
That's the dynamics of power imbalance. And so, whether you like it or not, I can't speak freely, as in when I'm speaking pari passu with my colleague that we are apart together. And so, I think the best thing to do in such situation is to engage a neutral party to actually try to resolve that conflict. If it's an
Mm.
organizational conflict, for example, you can bring in um, an outsider. And sometimes you can even create a feedback in the organizational circle, a feedback that is anonymous, where the person responding to the situation remains anonymous and name undisclosed. And then it helps you to get the details, the truth of the whole matter and how it started. And the person trying to manage the conflict will have a clear picture of what happened. But because when there's a power imbalance and you actually bring these two persons face to face, it's difficult for you to get headway.
Mm.
And so there are some mechanisms in conflict resolution that you can put in play that will help you to achieve the goal that is desired. Like
And what?
anonymous review, anonymous feedback,
Mm. Yeah.
a
Yeah.
neutral mediator, a mediator that is not an in-house person, is not part of the organization, involve a neutral mediator, and it allows this person who has less power to speak with freeness of speech, express himself.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, you come up with a policy or a solution that helps resolve such conflict. If you don't manage it with the sensitivity that it deserves, then it can break down or escalate and someone gets caught because of the
Yeah.
power imbalance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like having a problem with the governor.
How do you prevent conflict from escalating? So you just carry on.
Okay. All right. I get that.
Question.
Okay.
This is a tough one.
Okay.
So handle a paternity fraud relationship in marriage.
Yeah, it sounds like a tough one, just like you said, but a very simple one. Now the conflict has been brought to your attention, and then the best way to handle such conflict is a DNA.
After the DNA.
You get a DNA. After the DNA, okay, assuming there's a fraud, right?
Yeah.
Assuming there's a fraud, okay?
Yeah.
Then you check the resistance level of the person that has been defrauded, which is the man. If he has that ability to accept the bitter and hard truth, if he can still continue with the relationship, and if not, You don't force him to do so.
Okay, I would
It is not a must that you must resolve a conflict. It is not a must that a conflict must be resolved. If the two parties are not willing to accept the resolution, then you go your own, you go your way, and allow them be.
you said now so it's not a way of conflict in marriage. What would you have to say about this one?
Okay, if I got you right, you mentioned that divorce is usually discouraged, right? From a scriptural perspective, right? Now, as a mediator, nobody says you should encourage the parties to get a divorce. No, you don't do that.
Oh,
You don't
okay.
encourage married partners to get a divorce or to get a separation. It is wrong.
Hmm.
It's wrong. What you should do is to find out what they want, not what you want. Now you have seen that this problem has been established, that one party defrauded the other. And the next thing is for you to weigh the person that is defrauded. How is he willing to move on? What is he going to do? Is he going to accept this? Is he willing to accept this? After much conversation, a lot of communication, and then you determine what actually the person wants, and then you allow them be. That's what I mean. I do not mean that you advise them to actually have a divorce or get a divorce. No, you don't get to do that. But if you discover that you cannot stay together and the problem becomes an irreconcilable one, then you let it be. It has happened. You did not fail. Simply because you could not resolve that one does not mean you failed. No. It simply means that you follow the situation the way it is. And by allowing that happen, you make sure that both of them will have peace. Because if you force them together, that they must stay together, even in the midst of what has happened, you could be creating more conflict. And so get my answer straight. Don't force them to get a divorce. Don't force them to stay together. Find out what they want and allow them achieve their goal. Thank you. Okay. Okay. Well, yes. Yes. Necessary but not compulsory. The necessary part for good, yes. Because if you're experiencing growth, there's certainly going to be competitors. You're going to have people who are also trying to grow, people who are also trying to do what you're doing, and that creates conflict, unavoidable conflict. And so the ability for you to manage it matters, but as you're growing, you're going to have constant and consistent conflict. Be prepared for it. And so this conflict should not break you down. It should not stop you from growing. It should not discourage you. Rather, it should serve as an impetus for you to actually aim higher and never give up. That's it.
This learn so much to go back to this and see everything was where I need to make correct. Okay.
Thank you very much. No problem. It's It's always my pleasure. It's my pleasure. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you to all your viewers and followers. I say a very good day to you guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Always my pleasure. Yeah.
We'll be ending the live here. Let me address it. Thank you. If I get it across to you.